sure we don't wind up in the floor.
Complain about the water.
Yeah. I told you were dying of thirst up here and you needed some water.
Yeah.
I looked down and said, Dan got on socks
They could
tonight.
just not come to that meeting.
Everybody got it. No, you didn't. It wasn't me. Somebody else.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming to tonight's meeting of the Burlington City Council on today, October 4th, 2016. I'd like to ask everyone to take a moment to please silence all cell phones and electronic devices. For tonight's invocation, we call on Councilmember Bob Ward.
Thank you, Mayor. As we convene this council meeting, I would like to offer some hopes and thoughts about our proceedings this evening. As we consider the issues and concerns that will come before this council, we ask that our past experiences help guide our actions. And as we proceed, let us acknowledge that there will be differences of opinion and perspectives. And we ask that our deliberations be with an open mind and that our decisions will be fair, be reasonable, and in accord with all laws and regulations that govern our actions. And we would ask that we be guided by the highest standards of ethics in all that we do here tonight. And finally, we would ask that the council's actions be for the well-being of our community and serve the best interests of our citizens. Thank you.
We have one proclamation this evening. This time I'd like to recognize Fire Chief Jay Smith and Captain Jay Madden. Would you like to say anything, or?
Yeah. If you would, first of all, I'd like to thank Mayor and the Council for recognizing Fire Prevention Week in the City of Burlington. It's a very important activity that we do, but it's recognized this year, but we do it throughout the year. That's one of our primary goals that we have each year is prevention of fire and the safety of our citizens. I would like to, Captain Bud Cato has been doing that for a number of years, and he retired. And so Captain Jay Nevin has come into the Fire Prevention Bureau, has done an excellent job. We have so many great reviews on him. And so I was going to give him just an opportunity to talk to you for a minute about some of the activities that we had going on.
Thanks. Once again, thank you all. Mayor, thank you for signing this proclamation for us. In the year of 1920, President Woodrow Wilson signed the first National Fire Prevention Proclamation. So it's a great honor for me to be standing here today to receive it on behalf of the Burlington Fire Department and Chief Smith and the rest of the administration. Some of the things that we do and continue to do, things such as the Citizen Fire Academy, fire extinguisher training, smoke detector, smoke alarm installations, and many more. The Citizens Fire Academy has been a huge success for the Burlington Fire Department. Smoke alarms, in the past year, for the year of 2015, we installed 196. To this date, we've installed over 100 of them, to be exact, 105 to this date, and that's multiple residences. So the proclamation this year is don't wait, check the date. And in return, the Burlington Fire Department is offering that to the citizens and visitors of the city of Burlington as part of our mission to provide an excellent service 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So thank you once again for bestowing this proclamation upon us.
Thank you. So, with that being said, it's my honor to present this proclamation proclaiming October 9th through 15th, 2016 as Fire Prevention Week in the City of Burlington. Whereas the City of Burlington, North Carolina is committed to ensuring the safety and security of all those living in and visiting Burlington. And whereas fire is a serious public safety concern both locally and nationally, and homes are where people are at greatest risk for fire. And whereas Burlington Fire Department's suppression division responded to 8,759 calls for service in 2015, a 113% increase since 2002. And whereas 3 out of 5 home fire deaths result from fires in properties without smoke alarms, 38%, and with no working smoke alarms, 21%. And whereas working smoke alarms cut the risk of dying in reported home fires in half. And whereas Burlington Fire Department Prevention Division installed 196 smoke alarms protecting hundreds of residents from January 1st to December 31st, 2015. And whereas Burlington's first responders are dedicated to reducing the occurrence of home fires and home fire injuries through prevention and protection education. And whereas Burlington's residents are responsive to public education measures and are able to take personal steps to increase their safety from fire, especially in their homes. And whereas the 2016 Fire Prevention Week theme, Don't Wait, check the date, replace smoke alarms every 10 years, effectively serves to educate the public about the vital importance of replacing the smoke alarms in their homes at least every 10 years, and to determine the age of their smoke alarms by checking the date of manufacture on the back of the alarms. Therefore, I, Mayor Ian Baltus, do hereby proclaim October 9th through 15th, 2016 as Fire Prevention Week. I urge the citizens of Burlington to check the age of their smoke alarms in their homes, replace them if they are more than 10 years old, and to participate in the many public service activities and efforts of the Burlington Fire Department during Fire Prevention Week 2016. Gentlemen?
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We have an additional recognition this evening. At this time, we recognize Chief Jay Smythe.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. I'd like to bring forward first Stephanie Chapman. Stephanie, if you'll come up. There are 2 national-level associations for communications specialists for dispatcher folks. NENA, the National, let me get it right here. So the National Emergency Number Association, and then APCO, the Association of Public Safety Communications Officials. Those 2 national-level groups have North Carolina chapters, and our staff are members and participate in their activities regularly. And this year at their annual conference, Stephanie was recognized as the Supervisor of the Year for their association here for the entire state of North Carolina. So you can imagine how competitive that process is, and we're very proud of her. And if I could ask the audience's participation, if y'all will help and give us a hand for her. Take that off. Thank you. And Kenyon is up. So Kenyon Harris is our IT specialist that works for the communications element. So, Roger Burden on the city side does all the computer stuff. Kenyon does all of our radio equipment, which is very heavily computer-based. If any of you have had the opportunity to have a tour in our communications room, not where the dispatchers and telecommunicators sit, but the room behind the scenes with all the wires, if you haven't seen it yet, come take a look because it is amazing. As I bring people in from across the country for our CALIA inspection, they see that room and they are astounded at how well organized it is. And Kenyon does not just that room, but all of our repeater systems and networked radios between Greensboro and here and the state system, and he manages all of that. So at the 2016 conference again, Kenyon was recognized as the IT Technologist of the Year, again for the entire state. So Kenyon is the recipient of that award. Congratulations. So I'll close by just sharing with you the perspective that so often it's the men and women wearing badges that get all the attention from the folks in the public, and we need to recognize that these individuals behind the scenes really keep the operation running. And so without their hard work, their dedicated professionalism, we wouldn't be able to do what we do. They answer and manage 80,000 fire calls for service. Jay, do you know how many you guys get? Okay, so a remarkable number of telephone calls and dispatch for services. So fire trucks and police cars all over the city as they are tonight, those folks manage that for us, and we couldn't do any of that without their help. And so we appreciate your support, and thank you for allowing us to be here to celebrate their successes tonight.
Thank you.
Good job.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Way to go, Kenya.
All right. At this time, we recognize our city clerk, Renee Ward.
Members of council, it's my responsibility to remind you of your duty to avoid conflicts of interest in matters that are before us. At this time, I ask if there are any potential conflicts concerning tonight's agenda items.
None.
No. We have minutes from the September 19th, 2016 work session and the September 20th city council meeting. Do I hear a motion to approve or deny those minutes?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay. We have two add-on items to the consent agenda. Item H, Budget Amendment 2017-15, North Park Phase 1A. And item I, Quick Hitter Trail Improvements Contract and Budget Amendment 2017-17. Do I hear a motion regarding these add-on items?
We approve item H and item I to the consent agenda.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Consent agenda items have been added. Now we have the adoption of the agenda. Do I hear a motion regarding the agenda?
Make a motion that we adopt the agenda with the add-ons as written.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? This moves us to our consent agenda. These items are typically non-controversial. If anyone has any questions about the following items, please let us know. Item A, to adopt a resolution for the annual Section 5303 NCDOT Planning Grant Agreement for 2016 to 2017. Item B, to adopt a resolution designating the tax collector to authorize the payment of property tax refunds pursuant to North Carolina State Statutes GS 105-357C and GS 105-321G. Item C, to approve a memorandum of understanding agreement between the City of Burlington, Alamance County, and the Pet Adoption and Welfare Society, PAWS, for the construction of a joint animal shelter facility. Item D, Budget Amendment 2017-18, CDBG reallocation of funds, as spelled out in your agenda. Item E, Budget Amendment 2017-19, Police Grant, details as spelled out in your agenda. Item F, Budget Amendment 2017-20, replacement of heating units at Mako Bigelow Center at North Park. The details are spelled out in your agenda. Item G, Budget Amendment 2017-21, Police, amend Edward Brun, as spelled out in your agenda. It's a nice long one. Item H, Budget Amendment 2017-15, North Park Phase 1A, is spelled out in your agenda. And item I, to approve the contract between the City of Burlington and Stewart Engineering in the amount of $45,800 and approve Budget Amendment 2017-17 to fund the engineering services. Details are spelled out in your agenda. Do I hear a motion regarding the consent agenda?
Move to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Consent agenda has passed. This is the portion of our agenda for our public hearing. We have one item tonight. A public hearing has been set to consider amending City of Burlington Code of Ordinances, Chapter 23, pertaining to the discharge of firearms in the city as requested by Alamance Burlington Airport Authority. This time, council recognizes Chief Smythe.
Mayor and Council, it's my privilege to be before you tonight. As you know, 15 days ago in a work session, we discussed this particular brief amendment to Chapter 23 for discharging firearms. It creates a fourth exception to that statute that allows us to provide some consideration to the airport for some animal control issues that directly impact public safety. And so I think really the formality is the public hearing piece. So if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer those. Otherwise, I'll step aside and let the hearing begin.
Any questions from council? This is a public hearing. If anyone on this side of the room would like to speak. If anyone on this side of the room would like to speak. Hearing no comments, do I hear a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor of closing the public hearing, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Public hearing is closed. Any discussion on the request?
I'd make a motion that we approve the amendment to the City of Burlington Code of Ordinances, Chapter 23, pertaining to the discharge of firearms, as requested by the authority.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The motion has passed. That's it for our agenda. We have public comment period. We have one public comment request. This time, council recognizes Steve Deaton. Welcome.
I'd like to make a comment. It has been a week since the flood damage at the city park, and our train over there is still sitting in the exact same position it was the night that the flood occurred. The debris and so forth that accumulated around it and in its undercarriage is still there, and as far as I know, that both doors have not been opened on the building yet, and so you are retaining moisture around the train. And this is going to lead to early deterioration, which is going to make for premature maintenance costs on the train, as well as rust is going to appear on it in places, just like people who take classic cars. They don't park them dirty. They park them clean. The dirt and so forth sitting on them will attack the paint and so forth, and it's going to cause an issue. And I work at the city park. I work in the amusement area. I sell tickets at the window. And it is considered a gem of this city. People come many times in this past summer. People who have just moved to Burlington in the last 2 or 3 weeks have visited the city park amusement area. And they say they hear about it and they want to come there. So it is a draw and attraction. Plus, I know that council members who have been here a while, you realize that the carousel draws people from all over the United States because of it. Well, the train has a lot of followers, too. And, you know, it was an investment not too many years ago when the city purchased a new train, also replaced the rails that was there. So we're talking about a $100,000 investment sitting there that no one seems to be taking any interest in cleaning up the damage that's there. And I would just like for something to be done. I've had many people this week approach me, some of them who work at the park, some of them who know that I do, and say, what's going on with the train? And we've only got just a few more weeks left, and our season is over. The other issue is that on Halloween night, the Arts Council generally uses the train to do what they call the haunted train. And last year it raised $10,000 for the Arts Council of Alamance County. It's possible that the train's not going to be up and be running for it because no one even knows what damage has occurred to the undercarriage or if there's something wrong with the drivetrain of it, the mechanical part of it. And I'd just like for, the city to move on this, whether it not only be a joint effort or maybe with the Recreation and Parks Department, maybe, someone else can come in from the city and help get this thing moved. It at a minimum needs to be pulled out from where it is, and as much debris can be taken away from the undercarriage as can be done. At a minimum, that needs to be done. So just would like for y'all to consider doing something more with it other than it's just sitting there. Because, we know in hurricane situations, flood situations, a home sits closed up, no air flowing through it, you start getting mold, you get deterioration, things that you can't, reverse. And so here you've got the simulated depot there that it's parked in, a garage, and, same thing can happen there. It just needs to be opened up and aired out. So.
Thank you, Mr. Deaton, for your concerns.
Thank you for your time.
Manager, would it be possible for us to get a report on the damage to the train and then what steps are being taken to make sure it's operational?
Be happy to do that. We'll get on that tomorrow morning.
Excellent.
I'll chat with our Parks and Recreation leadership. And
All right.
We'll get that moving and get some answers out there.
Thank you very much. All right. That concludes our public comment period. At this time, we have council comments. I'd just like to take a quick moment to remind folks that voter registration wraps up on October 14th. So if you haven't registered or checked your registration, get down to the DMV or the Board of Elections by October 14th. Vote by mail has also begun, so folks can request their absentee ballot anytime and receive that via the mail. We have an exciting event coming up this week. Fire Station 6 is opening up. We have the grand opening on Thursday, and folks can come on down between 10 a.m. and noon. And parking will be just down the street at the school. So we'll have a shuttle service between the two. So come on out. We're excited to celebrate this new fire station in our community. As mentioned, it is Fire Prevention Week, and so folks interested in fire extinguisher training can stop down at Fire Station 1 on Thursday evening from 6 to 7 p.m. And then I also had the opportunity on my way over to meet some of the cyclists that are spending the evening in our community. We have over 1,000 bicyclists who are camped out in City Park right now on their ride from the mountains to the coast, and it's wonderful to have them in the community tonight, and it's been good to see them all over Burlington today. So, any other comments from council?
Got two, as always. One is to Chief Smite and Police Department. Congratulations on getting the offices. So that means I got a slot now.
Not yet. But on Sunday, I had the opportunity to attend the church services at the Paramount Theater, and it was very inspiring for two congregations to come together like that and have service and leave in fellowship and love. It was really touching. And people left out of there saying how pretty the Paramount Theater was and what renovations that we had done to it. And it was a good feeling. They enjoyed going. A lot of people hadn't been in the Paramount since the restoration had been done. And they saw what we were doing. And I just said, your tax dollars at work. This is what you get. So they had an opportunity to see that and be a part of the Paramount Theater for that Sunday. And I hope we have other congregations in the community that will do the same thing, to bring the community together. And I really do appreciate from both congregations that they put that together.
Any other council comments? Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Okay. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Meeting is adjourned. We'll see